Hi everybody, this is Professor West, and welcome to Java Programming. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I teach a number of different programming languages, and I like to create these videos to help my students. Sometimes somebody might be having some trouble with some of the more complex topics that we cover, and some of these other ones just help get you started off on the right foot. So regardless of your programming level, I hope the video helps you some. This week, or in this segment, I'll be doing Java, and I'll be using a program called Netbeans, which I have their homepage up right now. There are dozens and dozens of different free Java compilers that you can choose from. All you gotta do is Google free Java compiler, and you'll get a whole bunch of them. Netbeans is one of the ones that I found to be the easiest for my students, and so that's the one I'm going to be using. But I wanted to be clear that this is not the only way to do it. I've gone to netbeans.org/downloads, and you can see here there are various ones that you can download depending on what you need. I personally will use a lot of these at one point or another. PHP, C++, HTML, I teach all of those. So I'm going to go ahead and download this one over here that says that it does all of these. And when you click the download button, a window will pop up and ask you where you want to save it. And once it's saved, it runs. A window will pop up down here at the bottom, most likely, depending on your settings. And you'll click on it to install Java onto your computer. And you'll just have to walk through the normal installation steps. I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again, obviously, because that would be a little weird. But anyway, once you're finished and you run the NetBeans program, you get something similar to this. It won't look exactly like this because my output window still has some from when I was playing around earlier, and I have a couple projects listed. You won't have any of that right now, but for the most part, it'll still look like this. And that's great. I wanted to point out a couple other things while I've got the NetBeans window up. If you click on Documents and Support after you download the program, and notice up here I have Windows selected for the platform, which you may have to, depend on what your computer you're using. If yours doesn't have Windows, you might have to change that. But anyway, if you click on Documents and Support, you get a whole lot of great tutorials and videos that can help you get started. And there's some here for the other languages as well. And this will walk you through the system requirements if you need to know, and stuff like that. This is the NetBeans Quickstart guide. I'm going to right click on it and tell it to open it in a new tab because it has some fantastic information on it. And then you can also have other tutorials throughout here, but this one will actually walk you through what I'm about to walk you through, which is how to create a first project. So it walks you through every step, and so you can follow along with me, but you can also go back and reference this at any point. So it's very simple. You come up to the file. Once you've got this running, click File, New Project, and you'll see a project come up. Now here's a list of different topics that you could choose. If I was going to write a C++ program, I would click C++ and choose one of these. If I was going to write an HTML program, which is a web page, or JavaScript, I would click on JavaScript or whatever and choose one of these. I want Java, so I'm going to click on Java, and within Java, I'm going to click Java Application, and I'm going to choose the Next button. Now it's going to come up and it's going to give you a few options. First, make sure that this box is unchecked, does not have a check. If you click it, it puts one there. If you click it again, it takes it out. You don't want this here. You do not want that one checked. You do, however, want this one checked. So if it's checked, leave it alone, and if it's not checked, check it. And you can come over here and you can click the Browse button and you can tell it where on your computer you want to save these programs that you write. I've already done that, so I'm going to leave it there. But if you click the Browse button, a window comes up and asks you and lets you choose. And then project name, let's go ahead and call it Hello World. And I'm going to call mine 3 because I've already played around with it a few times. I did this whole program video tutorial a minute ago and realized that my microphone somehow was turned off. So I'm redoing it. But notice when I typed in hello world 3, it put hello world 3 dot hello world 3 down here in my for main class. That's something that you would have to do manually if this is not checked. But by doing it, it just saves you a little bit of work. And click the finish button. And now you come up with a basic program. Notice the package already says hello world 3. That's what I was talking about a minute ago. It did that for you because we had it chosen. And it's along with the class hello world 3 is already there for me. And yours probably just says hello world, but if you chose to put hello world 3, that's fine. A class is kind of like a container. It contains various functions or methods, which the main is a function or method. Both terms are used in the programming world. Some are used more for different languages than others. I teach so many languages I can never keep it straight, so you'll hear me going back and forth and calling it a function or method. But if you're using a textbook to go along with some of this, it may only use one of those terms, and that's totally fine. In the programming world, we use braces to group things together. Everything from this brace to this brace is part of the main method or main function. All of the code that we create is actually going to go into that area right now. So I'm going to put the cursor in front of it and hit the enter key a few times to give myself some room to write some code. Notice there's another set here. This is for the class. If I had another method or function, it would go here after the main one ends, but it would still be in this class. You don't have to worry about all that right now. We'll probably get to that in about the 4th or 5th or 6th segment, something like that, depending on which order we go in. But anyway, for now, every single thing we do is going to be in this main function. So I called this the Hello World program because in the programming world, the very first program that most people learn to write is the Hello World program. All it's going to do is output the words Hello World, and that's it. We use this one because it gives you the opportunity to actually see some code, to write a little bit of code, and then to test the code and run the program. So we don't want to do too much at one time. So let's start here. Inside the main function, we write the word system dot out dot print ln for line. And this is very important. Some people, when they look at that, they think that's a number 1, but it's not. It's a line. And notice when I typed system dot the out and a whole lot of other options came up. Once I chose out and put a dot, a lot more options came up. That's because within the system command, there's a number of different things you can do, and out is one of them for output. Inside the output command, there's a lot of other commands you could have chosen. So let me just do that again so you can see what I'm saying as I'm doing it. System dot, there's a whole lot of system commands that you could use. Get properties, identify hash code, there's a lot of them here. And I want out, so I could either start typing the word out, in which case that would be the only one that shows up. And now I can either hit the enter key, which would put it to the end, dot, and I want now, notice that in the out, there's a whole lot of other ones here. There's a lot of print commands, there's a lot of print line. I want a simple print line. And so I could hit the enter key again, or I could double click it, or I could have just finished typing it myself. There's a lot of different options there. And notice that it put these parentheses here. We're going to print line whatever's in these parentheses. Right now, I want that to be text, so I'm going to put a quote, and notice it puts the second quote for me, the closing quote. So I can just type the word hello world, exclamation points, whatever, and that's all there is to an output statement, guys. When I save it, it's going to automatically save where I told it to save. When I run it, it just outputted hello world. And then it told me my build was successful. It took 0 seconds to build it because it's so small. And that's all there is to it. Now, I could, let me just save a little bit of time here. I'm going to copy and paste. You're welcome to do the same, especially if you're following along. This is a lot of fun. Notice that that one didn't go all the way to the end. Why didn't it? I'm putting whatever I want in these because I forgot to put a semicolon at the end of that line. You have to have a semicolon at the end of each of these lines. Now if I would have done it, it would have gone and lined up with the rest. When I run this program, I'm going to save it and run it. And now it says, hello world, this is a lot of fun. Why didn't it? Because that's just what I told it to do. Doesn't matter what I put here. And let me show you something else fun. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's a huge typo. Is that going to matter? Not when it's output. Oh, hello world, blah, 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 blah. Why didn't it? It doesn't matter if it's in the quotes because that's just telling it to show to the screen exactly what I've typed here. Had I done that over here, then it would have been a problem. I'm going to undo that. But for now, that's all there is to this, guys. I want to make a couple other quick suggestions. You saw me each time before I ran it, I saved it. In the programming world, we have a saying. It says save early and save often. I like to save about every 2 or 3 minutes. And then, no matter what happens, if my computer, if the power goes out, if something else happens, whatever, I'll never lose more than 2 or 3 minutes worth of work. And it's so easy to just reach up here and hit this button. But I learned that lesson one night when I had been working for about 2 hours on this code, and then we had a power outage, and I lost everything because I hadn't saved. So, take it from me, save early and save often. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it for these print commands. I wanted to point one last thing out. Notice when they were coming up a while ago, some of them said print and some of them said print line. If I just use print, that works perfectly fine. The only difference is the LN tells it basically to hit the enter key after that line. So what's going to happen now is it's going to print this line. It's going to stop right here and run the next command, which is going to start right here. So this will actually output even on this line. Blah, blah, blah. Because basically the print line command told it when it got to here to hit the enter key so that it would move the next line down. So just something for you to know. And that's about it, guys. I hope you're following along. And this is... I say this a lot. The only way to get good at any kind of programming is to practice it. So do what we do, and then once the video is finished, play around with it some. Make your own print line commands. Test it out. Have some fun with it. And I hope to see you in the next segment when we start talking about variables, and we'll have better output. All right. Talk to you later.